And next up is Armored Core 4. Armored Core 4 is actually, maybe a lot of people might not know this, but Armored Core 4 is actually published by Ubisoft in North America and maybe in Europe as well. But it is made by From Software and it is Hidetaka Miyazaki's first game as a director, I believe. It is the first game he directed himself. And this is the trailer for Armored Core 4 Answer. So out of Armored Core 4 and 4 Answer, I recommend 4 Answer the most. It has really crazy giant bosses like this. This is the Spirit of Mother Will, I believe is what it's called. And even though it's this giant thing, you would think it's like the stage itself. This thing is actually a boss. This is a freaking mission in the game. And all the stuff you see in this trailer, in this opening, is actually what happens in the game. You actually get launched off this giant platform, you fly at super high speed at this boss, and you fight it. Armored Core 4 and 4 Answer are my personal favorite Armored Core games, and they're the ones I recommend. The design aesthetic of this game changed a lot. A lot of things were simplified to make it easier for new players, but also the game design was like very much sped up. There's lots of dashing inside, quick dashing, and really the mechs themselves just feel a little more agile in general, and everything is just faster in this game. And the mission design and design elements of the missions in general are just super good in this game. I really like a lot of the boss fights, a lot of the encounters, and especially the weapons. There are some really cool energy weapons in this game, and I personally really recommend Armored Core 4 Answer as well as Armored Core 4. Also, they're not that old, so they're a bit easier to get your hands on compared to the other ones, maybe. Both of these games are really good, I recommend them, but I think 4 Answer edges it out a little bit because some of the designs were just kind of fleshed out a little bit better in the follow-up of 4 Answer. So, but I do have to preface this, I don't remember if the PlayStation 3 version got patched, but Armored Core 4 on PlayStation 3 is kind of known for being not exactly well performing, so be ready for that. Which, yeah, if you like look at the trailer, you actually land on this thing and you fight, and yeah, you gotta take it down. It's great. I love this game. Yeah, that was 4 Answer trailer. Next up is Armored Core 5. Armored Core 5 is actually one I have a lot of hate for. I'm not gonna like try to be nice about it. I actually don't like Armored Core 5 very much. I don't like Armored Core 5 for a variety of reasons. There are some differences. In Armored Core 5, the mech design is changed. They're a lot smaller, they're stockier, and that in and of itself isn't really the problem because they still look like Armored Cores. The problem with Armored Core 5 is kind of the gameplay changes. The game is slowed down significantly from 4. The weapons just don't have as much pizzazz. As good as this trailer is, the game itself is not great. As you can see in this one, like the armored cores aren't that much bigger than a 2-story building. I believe they said they're about 25-ish feet tall. So yeah, they're not that big. They're about the size of a transformer. But in Armored Core 5, there's also a pretty big emphasis on multiplayer. You kind of make your own squad, you defend your own territory and whatnot. And so the story elements take a back seat in Armored Core 5, and that was kind of one point of contention I have with it. And then there is Armored Core 5 Verdict Day, which is the sequel and easily my favorite title in the Armored Core franchise. Verdict Day is such a cool subtitle to have. But anyway, Armored Core 5 Verdict Day tries to fix things a bit. There are more story missions. There is the big emphasis on multiplayer once again. But one of the other problems I have with Armored Core 5 is the gameplay. It is very hard to parse what is going on in Armored Core 5. The performance is bad. There's a lot of visual noise in this game when you get hit. When you're doing anything, you have to do like a scanning mode, which takes away a lot of the visual clarity. Armored Core 5 is just a very visually muddy game. And I think I have gameplay of it. I believe this is gameplay of Armored Core 5. There's also an AI element for some of the parts where it's like you can tune your AI, and supposedly it makes like very substantial but small changes to the way the game controls. I bought into the hype of this. I bought into the tutorial of this, and it just made it really hard to understand what was going on in this game, even more so. As you can see in Armored Core 5, it's a pretty slow game. It's pretty slow. It's visually flat and very hard to really tell what's different about what's going on. Even though you can make a quite colorful mech, like this person does in this gameplay footage I jacked off the internet, the game itself just is not striking. It's very hard to see what is going on. It's hard to see where you're going. It's hard to see what you want to be doing. I suffered through this game and I finished Verdict Day because I love Armored Core, and I was like, I'm going to finish it. I do not like it. I do not recommend 5. I don't think it's great. I think if 5 is your only choice, it'll give you an idea of what Armored Core is, but it's definitely not what seems like Armored Core 6 Fires of Rubicon is going to be going for. I don't think 5 was praised enough by fans. I think it was contentious enough with fans that I don't think they'll be revisiting this style. And as you can see, just like look at the gameplay. Like when you get hit, there's visual clutter. Like the screen like has the static and like machine failure style, I guess is what you call it. But also just the way the game looks. It's very hard to see what's happening when you get hit, what you should be targeting, everything. The game is just chaos, and not in a good way. I do like some of the story stuff though. Yeah. And then there's this trailer of Armored Core 5, which I think is very funny. This is the trailer for our Verdict Day that they released here in Japan. It's really funny because Verdict Day fixes a lot of the problems from 5. It makes it a bit more visually clear, but also a lot of the elements about it are still there, including really bad performance. One of the funny things in this trailer, I don't know, but yeah, there it is, is that they full-blown show how poor this game performs. Like, just look at it. This is a fucking mess. This game is a fucking mess, kind of. I don't recommend Armored Core 5. I don't. And then, so what Armored Core game do I recommend? I recommend Armored Core 4 if you have one to play. But honestly, I think the Armored Core games, they change so much between each entry, and each major entry, I should say, not the expansions, is that I think it would be best to wait for Armored Core 6, but I say that because the Armored Core games are old, so they might be hard to find or be able to play on modern platforms. There is a PS3 emulator, but that might not be the best way to experience the game because I'm not sure of the performance of Armored Core on the PS3 emulator. But there is one more game that a lot of people are not mentioning when talking about the Armored Core franchise, because it's not an Armored Core game, but it was made by the Armored Core people. And yes, it is on Nintendo Switch and PC now. This is Daemon X Machina. Daemon X Machina released about 3 or 4 years ago, I believe. And a lot of people kind of wrote this off. They haven't played it, maybe. Daemon X Machina is, for all intents and purposes, an Armored Core game. It is essentially Armored Core 4.6, I guess? If 4 answer is 4.5, this is 4.6, I guess. I don't know. But Daemon X Machina is basically Armored Core in everything but name. Even the design of the mechs and machine parts and weapons is very Armored Core. You can tell the general aesthetic of Daemon X Machina is 99% Armored Core. You do get some differences, like things like the big mechs that you fight, and the emphasis on team co-op missions and completing things. It seems like a very, what do I want to call this? A very Armored Core inspired game, and unabashedly so. This kind of feels like the Armored Core game that whoever made this wanted to make and just kind of couldn't at From Software at the time. Because remember, From Software made a very big shift into the Souls style games. And before they made RPGs, before they made lots of Armored Core games, because Armored Core was their bread and butter at the time. And then they made Souls, and then Souls became their bread and butter. And now that From Software is a way bigger company with a lot more clout, I think they can make more variety of games again, like Armored Core, and maybe some other RPGs that we haven't seen in a long time. But anyway, Daemon X Machina is a spiritual successor to Armored Core, and I think if you want to get a feel of what Armored Core kind of is, Daemon X Machina is a great choice. A lot of the customization and character mech building is 100% Armored Core. It is 100% Armored Core style. Like the way weapons are named, the way they look, this is all Armored Core shit. Where the difference comes in is like the speed and some of the aesthetics, like being able to pick up objects in the environment. Just kind of the general speed of the game is like Armored Core 4 times 5, basically. But Armored Core 4's PvP is insanity if you look up videos of that. But anyway, I think Daemon X Machina is actually your best bet to prepare yourself for Armored Core 6 Fires of Rubicon, because it is the easiest to get. It is on Steam. It is on, I believe, the Epic Game Store. It is on Switch. This is the game that you can actually get these days without having to buy an old console or dig one out. You can just go and download or buy Daemon X Machina. So that is why I recommend Daemon X Machina as my preparation game for Armored Core. Armored Core 6 Fires of Rubicon, anyway. But yeah, that is my breakdown of the Armored Core franchise, basically, and what you can expect if you try to venture into the previous games to prepare yourself to try to get an idea of what Armored Core 6 is pretty much confirmed to be. They said it's not going to be a Souls-like, it is going to be Armored Core as Armored Core. If you don't like Armored Core, sorry, this next From Software game isn't going to be for you, no matter how much of a fan you became after the Souls games started. That's just how it is. Kind of like how some people aren't fans of Street Fighter, even though they love Resident Evil. I love both. I think this is going to be a case of people understanding that not every From Software game is for them. Anyway, I recommend Daemon X Machina as the game to try. If not Daemon X Machina and you want to dig out into the series proper, Armored Core 4 for answer. If not that, and you want to just like jump in on the PlayStation 2 games, Armored Core Nexus is my choice in that regard. And if you can stomach it, Armored Core 1 is also decent. I don't recommend 5 just because it's visually noisy and hard to parse, but I know some people love that game to death. I'm not one of them, sorry. But if you don't have any of those choices, Daemon X Machina is the easiest to get, and I recommend it. Anyway, that's going to be all for this video. Are you going to be checking out Fires of Rubicon? I am. I'm super excited for it. Let me know what you think down below. What's your favorite Armored Core game? What games do you not like in the series? Which games do you like? Do you recommend Daemon X Machina like I do? Let me know down below. Hope to see you again. Please like, subscribe, hit the bell, all that good stuff, as usual. I hope to see you again next time for another video. Is this breakdown and analysis stuff okay? I don't know. I usually don't do it. I just do reviews. I've been thinking about branching out. I don't know. This is really hard. Anyway, I hope to see you again next time. Bye bye.